Okay, here we are back in League of Legends. So, I went ahead and queued up, landed in the jungle, and we'll see how this is going to pan out. Thing is, by looking at my team comp, Shaco is going to either screw us over by doing Shaco stuff, or best case scenario, he'd either go AP or tanky, because I can work with either of those. As is, there's no guarantee we're going to have an AP carry, and as such, I'm probably going to end up going Fiddlestick so that we have something. So I actually need to change my page here. I'll go nuke. Ah, we have Lysandra top. That's actually good news, so I can go someone tanky instead. So now the thing is, this would normally be a job for Skarner, since he can basically serve as the tank and sort of an initiator of sorts. He's pretty flexible all around. Thing is, I need to see who the enemy team locks in. Come on. In case you're curious why I sound a little upset, it's been probably like 25 minutes that I've been trying to get into this game. And I'm still here, clearly. My other option would be Nunu, but this isn't really a team that synergizes well with attack speed. So let's bring on the Fangs and Claws. Going to use page 17 here. Warwick relies on a lot of single target damage early on, so the savagery will add up. Want to keep my buffs longer, potential execute, and I may need to jump into the enemy team, so that's why I have Dangerous Game. Over here, increased ability damage, double-edged sword for more damage. Vampirism should be over here instead. I don't know. I must have moved it. This way I get more stats because Warwick is safe enough as is. Oppressor, because there's some CC to be found in this team. There's mainly Lysandra. I think that my ult counts, which is the primary reason why I want that, but I'm not 100% sure. And as for Fervor of Battle, the reason why I want this is it really does turn my ult into a death, just point-click kill type move. If you're not aware, Warwick's ult pretty much guarantees you 5 auto attacks unless interrupted. And by being melee, that means each one of his attacks counts towards 2 stacks. So once you hit that 4th auto attack, you will have your full stacks in place. And you'll only get like 1 guaranteed attack, but if you can follow up quickly enough with enough attack speed, you can get a follow-up attack if they don't flat out die. So there's also the wrap-up damage as you're mauling them, plus the burn from your skirmisher saber. It's just really, really brutal. And I'm going to be going Devourer, so I don't know how this interacts with me stacking up my Fervor of Battle, but we're going to find out. Now the thing is, once I have my Devourer, Blade of the Ruined King, and Spirit Visage, I might be able to tank through Rammus's defensive ball curl. My passive, plus the lifesteal I get from the Blade of the Ruined King, will start to add up, and I deal primarily magic damage, which means he has to rely on either his W or go for some MR, which is not a bad choice since he's up against Lysandra. But we'll see. Now, I think this is a mistake on Callista. She's kind of banking on killing someone and then doing something, but I genuinely don't know what. Thing is, if I want to gank the bottom lane, I have to maul her, because if I go for Soraka, she can just use her ult to pull Soraka to safety, which is kind of a load of BS. But come late game, I should be able to outduel Skarner. Depending on how he builds, that'll determine my priority of defensive item, whether it's Frozen Heart or Dead Man's Plate. And the reason why I want Dead Man's Plate is just to make it easier for me to actually stick to people. Plus it deals a little bit of bonus damage and inflicts a slow, which is really nice. Wow, can't even pierce that shield, can you?
30 seconds until minions spawn.
And I'm willing to let this go uncontested because we don't have a really good early team to deal with them. Callista, if she starts with her W, she and Soraka being ranged can deal a deceptive amount of burst.
Fun if they run.
Let's go for it. We're crazy here. And real quick, I should arrange these.
Minions have spawned.
And I just noticed I bought 3 health pots. I wasn't really paying attention. But that should be enough to last me the entire game, to be honest. Usually with Warwick, I only buy 1. That way I can save my money towards a completed jungle item. But oh well. Good enough. Thank you. And with the blue buff here, I should be able to spam my Q to my heart's content to clear. One drawback starting on this side is I don't have any CC in order to go for the Scuttle Crab. As a result, I won't be going for that. To make things worse, Skarner can take it pretty easily, but we'll see the capture point turn to know if he's over there. One more hit. Yeah, actually that would have been enough to kill it, but I don't know if it would have started healing before it actually died. Anyway, I'm just going to spam my Q and everything to stay topped off. This will give me level 3, which in turn will increase my sustain as well as my scaling stats. One more hit. I'm going to put this into the Q for more sustain, more burst. Is Skarner AFK or did he start blue buff? Now this camp is a little bit of a pain to take, simply because I have single target damage and not really a lot to work with in terms of attack speed or even items to kill it. Ah, he's using my custom skin. Wasn't really planning on smiting this, but it speeds the whole ordeal up. Gonna have another charge. Well, I do have max charges. Go figure. Now I do want to kill this one so that I can try to, or smite this one so that I can try to get the Scuttle Crab. So just by the way the jungle's going, hopefully you can see the impact Savagery is having. Let's see if he is AFK.
It's only fun.
Double kill.
Now this is very, very gutsy. We'll see if it pays off. You can tell he killed this because it's level 3. It's already respawned. I was hoping that'd scare him off the turret. Oh well, let's go for a dagger. And he's been in my jungle.
I smell their stench.
Question is whether he knows my E range or not, because he might be able to determine I was here. CS is kind of even, but Sphere has the whole first blood plus.
I'll feast on their bones.
That works.
I hunger.
And crud, I wasn't actually paying attention to the wolf spirit to see how long they'll take to respawn. He's still over there. He just went and recaptured it. I provided vision.
I smell that stench.
There he is. Wasn't planning on clearing it, but whatever.
Fun if they run.
Anyway, blue's gonna be coming up shortly. I can go back, get my other dagger, get a pair of boots, and be golden.
This ends now.
Well, that's about to suck for Callista now, isn't it?
An enemy has been slain.
That stench. I'll feast on their food.
An ally has been slain.
I
An
smell.
enemy has been slain.
Instead it sucked for Yasuo. What do I know? Okay, from here I'm going to be providing post-game commentary. And to explain what's going on here, Lysandra initiated on Rammus, and Rammus, being Rammus, doesn't go down too easily. Bad news for him is, with my challenging Smite, I'm now dealing true damage to him. With my Fervor of Battle, I'm dealing additional damage that isn't accounted for in items, and with my daggers, I'm actually going to apply that pretty quickly. So just like that, Lysandra not only survives, but she also gets an assist off of it. I get the kill, which pushes me further ahead, and now I have enough gold to finish my Devourer. So at this point, I can actually verify my theory is correct. The Fervor of Battle does work with Infinite Duress, and you can really assassinate a squishy target like an AD carry or an AP carry with it. And it even does a number on tanks, as you'll see when I fight Skarner a few times.
This ends.
But right there you can see that Skarner went ahead and captured this point. Unfortunately for him, he's more interested in playing with the capture points rather than doing anything really productive. And as a result, he's going to steadily lose ground until the finally just starts getting blown up repeatedly. So right here I wanted to try to catch Yasuo, but he's a little too quick, so instead I get to relieve a little bit of pressure off Zed. Unfortunately, that does mean the bot lane does die instead. You can see Thrush goes down, Severe is doing what she can, but she's human. She has her limits. Warwick, on the other hand, is a werewolf. He has no such things. So right now my Fervor of Battle is stacked up, as you can see. If I can catch up to them, they are in a really bad spot. Such as Callista here. So that was 6 stacks that I got up to for that last hit. The Q counted as 2 because that's how spells work. Since I'm melee, each hit is 2 instead of 1. And it just adds up and they die. So I'm definitely a fan of Fervor of Battle with Warwick. It makes him an even stronger duelist than normal, and since you do have lockdown, even though it's somewhat situational, you can really mess someone's day up. So if you didn't notice, Rammus was rushing a Sunfire Cave, that's what it's called. I was about to say Cinder Hole kind of thing, but yeah. So as a result of going for Sunfire Cape, he has the health component of the Cinder, but then the armor component doesn't actually help him with Lissandra's damage. And as such, he does have the potential to kill him from time to time. Unfortunately for him, like I was trying to calculate earlier, with the Spirit Visage to mitigate Thornmail or defensive ball curl damage, that's less I'll take. With the Blade of the Rune King in my passive, that's more sustained for me, as well as being amplified by a Spirit Visage passive. And then the healing effect of the Spirit Visage itself. And the real final straw is the Challenging Smite. That reduces the damage he deals even further. As a result, if Rammus actually tries to duel me, I can sit there and actually beat him to death, while barely getting hurt myself. Plus, all the damage from the Challenging Smite is true damage, so he can't mitigate that without just stacking health. Not a good game for the Armadillo. Now, unfortunately, right here is one of those fights where I'm in the absolute worst position, plus I have tier 1 boots. When I try to go one way, they move the other way. I'm kind of just hoping, okay guys, pick a side and stick to it. So unfortunately, right there, I didn't get enough damage on Yasuo. I still did enough to drive him back, and I think I also got his flash.
It's time.
But in the meantime, while my team goes ahead and takes towers to give us gold, I need to keep farming to get my Devourer going. Now, Zed can definitely use the energy regen and the CDR that comes with the blue buff. It's just, I could also use that, and I hold myself a higher priority than Zed. Unfortunately, with the whole dynamic Q thing, the mid laners I've been getting are pretty bad more often than not, so in case you're wondering why I monopolize the blue buff pretty much almost every single time, that's why. At this point, my expectations are so low that if they can at least go even, I'm kind of impressed. Case in point. So without my ult, there's really nothing I can do to lock him down. Even if I try to do something, he can just dash right through me and keep going.
Your turret has been destroyed.
It's one of the things that definitely sucks about Yasuo, since he has a dash on a half-second CD. And Riot has the nerve to say mobility creep isn't a thing. So the Scuttle Crab being worth more makes it more of a higher priority for me. But on the flip side, I can try to deny some buffs as well as be an overall pest, which is why I'm over here at the enemy blue. So Skarner only really gets CDR from this. Due to the way his spires work, he should be good for mana at pretty much all stages of the game. Right here I'm going to smite this for vision. And I'm going to leave the camp up because he's a Devourer Skarner. That is not something I actually recommend, and I should look into doing Skarner next week to actually give a pretty good analysis on him. He's in a bit of an interesting state, and I don't mean interesting necessarily in a good way. So right there I body blocked the defensive, or the power ball, and then he decided to taunt me for some reason, which is what I actually want. So even though I do lose some armor for that, the thing is, I'm still going to stack up my Fervor of Battle there. And I don't know how much damage it does right now, but at the higher levels that's going to be an additional 100 damage on every auto attack. And then if the Devourer actually counts towards that, every other hit's going to be 200 damage. It's just obscene. But right here we are going to kill Skarner. Unfortunately I don't have my ult up. He does have his, so he suppresses me, and this is just really bad on his part. He shouldn't have tried to carry me off. He decides to duck into the brush, but my E reveals him, so... nah. And just like that, the arachnid goes down, and we are free to go do whatever we please. Such as actually getting the scuttle crab this time for my 2 stacks. Now, I don't have a hard CC to get the defensive stat reduction, but I have the red buff to slow it down. That's additional true damage. It's really the next best thing. So I don't have the attack speed component of the Blade of the Roden King just yet. As a result, this is still a little bit of a chore to take, but I'm getting closer and closer, and I actually do have enough gold at the moment, so I can go back and grab that. Now, the next order of business is I want CDR so that I can use my ult more often. Glacial Shroud is a nice, cheap source of 10%. Gives me armor, which is just all around nice. And it gives me mana so that I can use a few more spells before actually going Plus, once I actually upgrade into the Frozen Heart, that will give me 20% CDR. If you're wondering why I go for Frozen Heart instead of Frozen Fist, because Warwick could use the slows, you don't have spells on a low enough cooldown to really justify the Frozen Fist. So Frozen Heart is just all around better. Plus with the Yasuo on the field, as well as the... crud, who's the enemy AD carry again? Callista, I think? Basically, especially with Callista, by denying her some attack speed, you're actually cutting into her mobility. And Yasuo is in a similar situation since some of his spells scale with attack speed rather than CDR. So right here, the Scuttle Crab has been taken, but I can go ahead and take the Crystal Spire. Then I can go ahead and kill Callisto's Sentinel for a little bit of extra pocket change. As for what I'm doing right here, I'm just trying to get some vision as well as get in position. We might have some potential at down bot, it's just I need to find out where Skarner was, is there something for me to steal, that type of thing. And in reality, right now is when I could act, like right there I wasn't actually paying attention to the lantern, otherwise I could have taken that. But on the topic of the spires, once I got the Blade of the Roden King, that's really it. I don't actually have to worry about Skarner having control of the domain. The only advantage he'd get from it is the movement speed so he can run away. The attack speed is not really an issue, even though he is a Devourer Skarner, simply because I'm a better duelist than he is. People say all sorts of smack about Warwick, but they can't really seem to grasp how dangerous he can be. So you can see right there, they pretty much laid into me with everything they had. I couldn't get the Q off on Rammus for additional lifesteal as well as the assist, but I live, Rammus didn't, and the enemy is out of all those spells they used on me. Now right here is going to be my first death. So right there I did ult Soraka, which in turn has no effect because Callista can just ult her. It'd be kind of nice if, you know, ulting the Oathsworn or whatever the person is called with someone actually disables Callista's ult, but too hard to write spaghetti code, I guess. But I still got Callista in the end. I have enough gold to get my Glacial Shroud. I have enough for a Kindle Gem, and just like that I have 20% CDR. The Kindle gem is going to be the Spirit Visage, as I've hinted at a few times up till this point. It's going to allow me to duel Rammus. I can already duel Skarner pretty easily. And in case you're wondering what's going on with Soraka, that's the Indigo Lantern skin. With the change to her Q, it's glitched, so it won't properly display the Indigo insignia until someone actually goes and fixes that skin. Right here you get to see me duel Skarner. So right there I drop my Smite, I have my attack speed buff in effect, and then just like that he goes down. Thrush through the lantern again and assist, so we got the maximum gold output possible. But right there I fought him in his domain, and he can't keep up with me anymore. That was without my ult, without my Blade of the Rune King. That was just my pure stats and my Fervor of Battle. So yes, I will admit a large portion of that is that he actually sat there and traded with me, letting me get all the way up to 8 stacks, and then all the bonus damage just adds up. He's too busy playing the crystal game rather than the long con. And the long con is kind of what he needs to actually pull this one off, since our team kind of can fall off late. Once Callista has a QSS, and they can deal with Zed's Deathmark, or even Lyssandra's ult, or even my ult, our options would start to become limited. And right here I DC'd. So it takes a moment, but I can move around again. Nothing big happened while I was gone, so I want to try to get in position to join the fight. Unfortunately, I'm still on tier 1 boots, so I'm not going to be joining anything too quickly. So Severe catches the javelin with her face. And right here I'm just trying to pull them away from my team. As long as they're focusing on me, that frees up 4 of my allies to do something. And best case scenario, they actually would do something. It's just realistically speaking, a lot of my teams these days have been saying, okay, they're after Warwick, let's go home. As disappointing as that is, that happens way too damn often. So they could see Lysandra, that kind of interferes with their plans. She could have just used the glacial path to enter the fight, ult herself, and then the enemy has to either peace out or get mauled. Once again, just trying to deny Skarner his stacks, doing so through counter jungling. And right here I'm trying to figure out, is there going to be a fight or not? Because I can go bot lane, push out that wave, get some CS, some EXP, all that good stuff. But yeah. Unfortunately, the team's indecisiveness is going to get really bad later. Almost like game throwing bad. But I'm Warwick. I can pull off miracles. So right here I was hoping Lysandra would jump in there so we could get on Warwick or someone, but she turned around. As a result, nothing happened. So I can go ahead and get Boots of Swiftness so I don't get kited as badly. And I want the Frozen Heart first because I want the CDR. So that's why I went ahead and picked up a Cloth Armor. I don't have enough to actually build the Warden's Mail. But every little bit helps. Every step you make is one step closer towards your final goal and all those inspirational phrases and stuff. So here comes the next fight with Skarner. I stepped on the Spire to deny it from him, and you can see how one-sided this fight is. So I stacked up my Fervor of Battle, I stacked up my passive, then I just jumped on him, mauled him with my challenging Smite effect, and the Arachnid melted. It's really that simple. Even in his domain, he's no match for me. but pretty much every Skarner I've seen these days, I'm trying to remember an exception, because as far as I know, I seem to be the only guy who plays Cinderhulk Skarner. I have no idea why they go for Devourer. His ratios suck. You're better off trying to do a longer fight, which is where the Cinderhulk can come in more handy. Don't get me wrong, Skarner is flexible, it's just...
Shut down.
in this game, like, the enemy team needs a better tank than Rammus. Rammus alone can't really cut it. I don't know if they didn't know how Warwick synergizes against, well, interacts with Rammus. They don't really synergize since I kill him. It's just with 2 tanks, they would have been a little bit better off. And in case you're wondering, yes, you will see me go 2v2 against them later on with Severe at my side. So right there, Thresh did have stacks on his relic shield that he could have used, but he wasn't using them. In the meantime, I want to pass this off to Lysandra so that she can just spam her spells a bit more, she'll have more CDR, etc. You can see she doesn't have enough power to kill it quite yet, but she's getting there. I need a little bit more gold to get my Frozen Heart, and it's very much worth getting just for that extra CDR. And the whole slowing field, dampening field, whatever we're going to call it, is very helpful for dealing with Callista. And I forgot to mention, since it's a Devourer Skarner, this Frozen Heart is even more effective against him. Why do people build Devourer on him? I need to find a site that I can look at for stats on different builds, because as popular as that is, I've yet to see it actually work out.
This ends now.
You'd probably have to really change the way you play him. I'm still a fan of the whole Emax thing, and to really get the most out of your Devourer, you'd probably have to Q-max, and if you did that, you'd need AD to actually get anything out of the Q, since it has no base damage, and it's just such a mess. Anyway, right here you can see the attack speed buff pop into effect. As a result, Severe, Lysandra, and I are able to just burn that tower down, and we get ourselves a free inhibitor. So after a play like that, you kind of think the enemy team would be on their last legs, they'd be on tilt, etc. But right here you can see that Skarner and Rammus are just face-tanking the towers to kill them. Rammus has been stacking armor, plus the armor he gets from his defensive ball curl means he doesn't really take a lot of tower damage. I will actually make him look worse once I get the 4th dragon, but for the time being, here comes our 2v2. So pay attention to my Fervor of Battle stacks. Skarner missed his stun, right now I'm at full stacks, and right here all I have to do is just keep swinging. That damage is adding up way too damn fast for them to even account for. So right there, the slowing field limited Callista's mobility. I just ran in there, killed her after Zed burst her down. Just like that, they're down 3 people, and it's up to these 2 to defend the tower. Now, this should actually be an easy tower take, of course, with all these minions here. It's just, for some reason, Severe ran all the way back there. But since I'm so far ahead, you can see I was able to survive the last breath. Now I just have to come over and heal up. I have the Blade of the Ruined King for sustain, as well as the bonus lifesteal against jungle creep from the machete item, so you can see topped off. I went from Death's Door to about 85% health, just like that. Now, unfortunately, this is where the team is just going to lose all sort of direction. So there's no reason for Zed to be recalling right now. pretty much, or anyone else. At this point I thought we were baiting, that's why I didn't really close the... well, I didn't open the shop window or anything, but my team just decided, fuck it, give them the Baron. What's the worst that could happen? And unfortunately, they are going to be playing like total morons for the next 5 minutes. In the meantime, I do have enough gold to get my Spectre's Cowl. But as far ahead as we are with the minions in the bot lane, all we had to do was do a Baron dance, just stall them there, and let the minions pour in. Someone would either have to go back, or they'd have to start the fight. Instead, my team went the idiot route. Sad part is I think I'm the only one that can actually deal with Rammus. His taunt works against him right here. So we're gonna have a fight right here at the Dragon Pit. In reality, these two should not be doing this. Can't really stress the whole imploding team bit right here. Anyway, now that I've arrived, this is definitely ours. Since there was no eyes on Skarner, I didn't want to smite it. I'd rather keep my smite up for combat situations. Due to the way he works, he actually has to run in there, which we'd see him if he wanted to, and then I could still smite before he arrives. Totally in our pockets. So in case you're wondering why I'm putting the points into E, it does give you an additional 5% movement speed per rank of the move. Start base 20, I believe. So basically, if the enemy tries to run away, I'll have a little bit of extra speed to catch them. And since I knew Rammus was there, that's why I didn't ult. Basically, Rammus could either powerball into me or just use his puncturing taunt to stop my ult. But full health. Right here, the inhibitor's coming up, and they still have the Baron buff. But now, at long last, I have the Spirit Visage, which means Rammus really has no hope against me. If we decide to slug it out, that's it for him. He either has to run away or die.
An ally has been slain.
Now, since my team went full idiot, I decided I'm going to hold on to the blue buff myself. That should give me capped CDR, therefore I can ult and do everything else more quickly, more often.
It's only fun if they run.
So right here we can see the point being taken. That means my team is a little bit in danger, and right here I'm just trying to pull some aggro towards me so that my team can get out. So I forgot what that item is called. I think it's Zeke's or something. That would be the time for Severe to turn around and fight, but she does not get an Infinity Edge, and she never gets one the entire game. Had she gotten the Infinity Edge, she might be able to deal with Rammus herself, but oh well. So right here I'm hanging up here just to try to clear the way to deny them the push. And in case you're wondering, the Ruby Crystal, my final item, I want to be a Dead Man's Plate so I can stick to targets. The Ruby Crystal is going to become a Giant's Belt, which in turn will become the plate. With Skarner's mobility as well as Rammus' Powerball, I'm thinking I need movement speed to keep up with them. My own E isn't quite enough. always find that annoying how the team only seems to have backbone when I'm around them. There was no one in sight there, so they shouldn't have had to wait for the lane to push up that far. We could have just nuked it down, then swung down here, but still in full idiot mode. As a result, there's really nothing I can do for this. And the worst part is, with 3 of them down here, and with Severe as our AD carry, you think the team would have done something. They could have popped ult and then ran down whoever was over there. There were so many options, but instead they just choose to sit there and bitch. So that's why I went ahead and tossed up the surrender vote, gave them the ultimatum, grow up or get your head in the game. Or wait, what I said is surrender or grow up or something like that. This is very much a winnable game. It's one that we had the advantage in, but like I said, my team is hellbent on throwing this right now. Don't know why, don't know what they're trying to prove, but you can see them in action. I'm kind of hoping, like, best case scenario, they were thinking Drag 5 will solve all of our problems because it will give true damage to help deal with Rammus. I don't need it, but my teammates could use it. I really don't know what they're thinking because it does not make sense. And unfortunately I don't really know the ranks of the people I'm playing with, so I don't know if... Maybe I am playing with a bunch of new players. Anyway, right here my team finally finds its backbone. Right here I waste no time getting up to my 8 stacks of Fervor, and I jump on Skarner to maul them. Rammus decides to be a hero, which I show is not in the best interest of his health, and that's 3 down. So right here, Dragon 5 is coming up. It's hard to say if we actually could have gotten this if I ran straight there, but Callisto's already on it. They were waiting on it to deny us. In the end, we end up having to settle for Baron, but, oh well. So, in case you were doubting how squishy my team is, look no further. The good news is the small amounts of lifesteal that Zed and Severe do have will be amplified with my attack speed buff. And right there, I think I took that because I wasn't sure if I had enough gold for my Deadmans, which I should have. You can see I had more than enough, but not enough for an elixir, sadly, or even a boot enchantment. So there's a really poorly placed Zerat portal out. You can see that they don't live long enough to really do anything other than just deny the push on the lane. But here's the final battle. So right there you can see me just laying into Rammus. I am more than happy to sit there and trade with him because Fervor plus everything else I have, it's not a fight he can win. So right there I pretty much single-handedly forced the 2 of those clowns out. And then my team is able to deal with the remaining 3 people. Right here I flash on top of Rammus to deny him his Powerball. As a result he goes down, Zed goes in on Soraka. Meanwhile I jump in on Skarner. With Dragon 4 I'm free to tank this tower. You can see I take next to no damage. My armor, I give the attack speed buff to my teammates, the tower goes down.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
And Rammus can eat his heart out. 20% flat reduction beats any sort of armor advantage he can get. Now, sadly, the game is going to kind of glitch out. You won't be able to see my rank. I did end up getting my 4th and final chest from this. It's an S- rank game. You'll see what it is here, but the chest itself didn't actually pop until I went to the champion tab to see what exactly I got. So right there I got a key shard, or whatever they're called. I ended up making a key and opening one of the chests, and I got Kennen, who I already have. So I'm not really a fan of the whole Hextech crafting thing, but maybe there's something more to it, I don't know. It's just, as is, I'm not really impressed. As for stats, you can see I think I actually did the most damage on my team. I took the most. Yeah, Warwick is not to be underestimated. Anyway, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.